We could do 2 hot takes.
We are about to show you our trip from Iceland. Justin and I, but we show you the
tips and tricks we found along
with.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain like how weird, like why it was.
That was
so
really
weird, but
funny.
I was in Home Goods, and so this guy kind of kept going, like bumping past me, and I thought that I was probably in his way, so I was like, oh, sorry. And we're both looking in the pillow section, and then finally he was like, the pillows are just so hard to decide, aren't they? And I was like, yeah, I wish I had one of my friends here to help me pick. And he's like, well, maybe we can help each other out. And I was like, well, I don't know. I can't even figure it out for myself. And he's like, well, I feel like you'd be able to help me. And he's like, what do you think about this? And I was like, yeah, that looks nice. And mind you, I'm still looking for my pillows. So I'm like, he's asking me questions.
Yeah.
And then he was like, so I'm from Argentina. And he's like, and it's a part of our traditions and customs to, if you help me out, then I will pay for everything in your cart.
Huh?
So at first I'm like, that sounds like a good deal, but I still was like, I was like,
add stuff to cart immediately.
But I still, well, which was funny is because I like had a shit ton of stuff in my cart that I was planning on returning to see like what looked best, and so I was like, no, you don't need to do that, because I still felt kind of like weird about it.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, like I would really like to if you allow me to. And then he's like, I just always like to make new friends. Like, he's like, could I get your number? And then, oh, I hate that I did this, but I'm always so bad at like telling people no. I just like,
it's hard.
In the moment, I just never want to make anyone feel embarrassed or awkward. And so I gave him my number. I was like, sure, yeah. And then he's like, cool, if you could help me out. And then he started, like, after I gave him my number, he started saying things that I was just like, this is scaring me.
Oh.
And he's like, you just make me very, very excited. And was like looking me up and down when he was saying it. And I was like, thank you so much. Like, just still playing it off. And then he was like,
Yeah.
it's a part of my tradition that when we do these, and he called them like a shopping date. He was like, shopping dates, and he's like, I would love to go on another one with you too. And he's like, but it's a part of my tradition that we will cuddle in the store. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable with that. And he's like, I don't bite, like, let me show you. And he's like grabbing a blanket, and I was just like,
run.
Yeah. So it basically, a lot of weird things like that. So we go to the checkout together, and then he says, I forgot my wallet. And so then I'm like, I'm being scammed.
Yeah.
And I said, oh no, that's okay. But he put all his stuff in my cart. Yeah. And so anyway, he said, but I have it on my phone. And so I'm just gonna like see if it works. I've never tried this before. He has an iPhone. It works, but he buys his stuff first, his own stuff, to see if it would work.
Huh.
And so anyway, I did it. And I checked out. I didn't want him to pay at this point. At this point, I just wanted to get away from me. And I was just trying to be as casual about it as possible. But anyway, so he then was like, oh my gosh, you paid. I didn't even notice. And I was telling him, like,
sure, you didn't.
Totally fine.
Sure.
Yeah. But then we start walking out, and it was the parking lot's so dark that I was like, and I had this bad feeling in my gut. And I was just like, I'm actually waiting for a friend to pick me up. So I stayed.
So smart you did that?
Yeah. So
smart.
So I
stayed in the store.
Yeah, I stayed in the store for a while. I started shaking at this point because there was just a lot of other micro weird like interactions.
Well, yeah, and you're like, am I being sex trafficked?
Exactly.
Is he going to kidnap me?
Don't know what's going on. And it was a really one of those things where I just kind of thought that he was like kind of awkward and shy and trying to hit on me, and I just wanted to be polite. But then I was like, is he being awkward because he's nervous about what he's trying to do? Yeah. And so then that's where I started feeling weird about it. And he said, okay.
This is total whiplash. Holy shit.
I just told myself I'm probably overreacting. And that he was probably just hitting on me and probably was just shy. And then I looked up his number. Like, and I know all the different sites that you can look up numbers because he texted me and said, next time you're not bringing your wallet to our next shopping date.
If you wanted to pay that bad, you easily could have. I hate when people do that. Oh God, I really want. Okay, anyway, sorry.
No, it's
keep
fine.
going. It's beside the point.
No, but so then that's why I thought it was weird too. I was like, he insisted so much. I
If you
denied him
wanna
like
pay,
8
you'll
times.
pay.
That like I denied him like 8 times when he was like, no, I want to buy what's in your cart. And then when we get up there, he's like, oh, I don't have my wallet. So that was weird to me. I was like, wouldn't you like make sure you have your wallet before you insist? But like, anyway, that's besides the point. So then I look up his number. It's a fake number. He had an iPhone, right? If I go to like text him back, it's green. And the number doesn't work anywhere.
It's
so
the ghost text app.
it's like, yeah, it's a number where you can't track it. It's like a burner phone like number. And so then anyway, my roommate also called on *6, like the
private number,
the private
blocked
number
or whatever.
And whenever it's a fake number like that, it goes like, makes weird noises. Did that. So now I'm like really freaked out.
You got really lucky. Well, he didn't see your car. He doesn't know where you live.
That we know of. You can like track everything online from a phone number. It's crazy.
Yeah, you can, but like, you're fine.
Guys,
Well,
You're fine.
this one.
Anyway, I'm still kind of like sketched out by that. I actually ended up like, yeah.
Well, no wonder you couldn't sleep and you slept bad.
Oh yeah, no, I was.
But I think like, I mean, me personally, I overanalyze a lot of interactions on a day-to-day basis, and
We have an
always trust your
army.
gut. Like for everyone out there, like always trust your gut.
A full
But I
army.
think it's sad as women, like that is very clearly a scary interaction.
Mhm.
I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about that one.
Mhm.
But on a daily basis, women or people that identify as women, present as women, whatever you want to include in this group, we often have to think, is this just a genuinely nice person right
Mhm.
now? Or do they have ulterior motives?
Right.
Is this actually dangerous? Are they being helpful or are they dangerous?
Assemble!
And I have a story today that is like, it speaks volumes to that.
Really.
Oh my God, like your story that you just told right now fits into the theme of like, what the fuck did I just hear? What the fuck did I just read?
And then the concern for me too is that the fact that I called my friend that lives in Argentina, who's
Yeah.
born and raised in Argentina, and asked him if any of this was a part of an Argentinian tradition.
He's like, no,
and he was like,
run.
yeah. And he's like, what? He's like, he's like Argentinian. Like he's like, no, like, absolutely not. He's like, there's so many things wrong with that. So I don't know what was going on at all, but like all I know is that I didn't feel good about it. So.
No. If you ever feel unsafe and like, you can always call me and I'll actually pick your ass up if
Oh,
something like that
thank you.
happens. Like, no one should ever feel like that.
The best part is that I was thinking about, so I wanted to wait because he mentioned maybe going to Marshall's too. He's like, we could go to Marshall's next or whatever it was next door.
You almost wanted to go and see if he was there.
No, I was scared that he was going to either like wait in his car, be at Marshall's. So then if he was just a genuine guy and I looked like an asshole being like, my friend's picking me up, and then he's like going to Marshall's and then watches me get into my car. Like I didn't want to be a dick either. So I waited for quite a while.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking about asking someone, but I didn't want to be dramatic. And then, or asking someone at the store to walk me to my car. And then I saw this like big group of people like walking out to their car that was next to mine, because my car was like way in the corner where there was no other cars. Of course, I parked
Of
there.
course, yeah.
Yeah,
It always
so-
works like that.
Yeah, so I was like, were they watching? Like, was someone watching me the whole time? Like, did they know that like I was very secluded? And so once this big group of people walked out to their car, then I ran to my car. But then the best part is that I was trying to go so fast that I dumped my everything in my purse out on the floor. So then my hair's in front of my face, and I'm like picking it up really quickly, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is a scene. This is a scene right now where this is where bad things happen. I'm like,
Oh my
damn it.
God.
But anyway, so hopefully that's all good. But I think the moral of that story is that just I don't think I'll ever give someone my number to be nice again. I think I'll just say like, I'll take your number.
Yeah. And this is like, it's coming up so much recently where a girl gets asked to prom and she says no. And the internet was like, oh, she should have just said yes to not hurt his feelings. Oh, she should have just gone with him to prom. She should have said yes. And it's like, why? Why
Mhm.
are we so
Yeah.
careful about hurting boys' feelings
Mhm.
that we're willing to sacrifice our girls in the process?
Mhm.
It is okay to say no. No is a full sentence.
Yeah.
Teach your daughters to advocate for themselves and
Yeah.
hold their ground and say no.
Mhm.
And
I know.
Bottom
that's,
line,
and
it's
that's such a good point.
It's fine saying no, but it's scary as women because when we do say no, we could face repercussions because
Mhm.
these little boys have not been told no.
How many
and grow up to
toxins
be
are getting
men
built?
that can't take no for an answer.
I have enough
Yeah.
clay
and so it's
for
scary.
5 more,
Yeah.
including
It's
this.
scary.
So 5
This
more.
is why we need to raise our children better.
Mhm.
It's okay if someone tells you no.
Yeah.
Respect it.
And I'll
It's
probably
not the
keep
right
one.
person for you.
So I
Move
think we'll
on.
have
It is so weird that it's hard to. And I think that the other thing too is that like
12 total. So
I mean,
11 to give
I
out.
feel like I was taught a lot to not be the one to pursue. Like I wasn't taught the one to go and ask someone out to a dance or ask someone out on a date. I was taught that I just need to like wait for it. So I also don't know that like opposite, way of being rejected by asking somebody.
I wonder
because
how long
like
it's gonna
more
take
just the
to
rejection of
bake
not being
these.
asked.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And so it's just it's a weird dynamic because
They
we
feel
definitely
thicker
were
than a
ingrained
fourth of
that
an
a
inch.
lot back, like
And it's
20, 30
15
years
minutes
ago.
per fourth inch.
Yeah.
I'm like so into this right now because I'm recording with Griffin Maxwell Brooks tomorrow.
Mhm.
20 to 30
and
minutes,
they are just this
maybe.
amazing creator who
Do you have a
really
kiln?
is
No,
like
I have an
breaking
oven.
down gender roles and like
Chris,
I went
thank you
off
for the
on
prime.
a rabbit hole today looking at like their interview with Vice talking about like what it's like to be a man and what is masculinity, and it's so interesting the box we have built
Mhm.
for ourselves.
Yeah.
And no one's happy with this box,
Mhm.
but yet we're not changing it,
Right.
or we're trying so hard to change it and we're not getting anywhere.
Right.
It's very interesting. But let's get into this eye bleach today.
I know. The fact that I didn't have my headphones on made me kind of forget that we're on the podcast. Like, we're just talking.
We just out here.
Yeah.
I just love the headphones. They make me feel like I'm in another world.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that normally when I'm here, I'm like, okay, we're doing something different.
Show business,
But
baby.
just now talking to you, I'm like, this is just you and I on the couch, just like having combos.
I love it. Well, are you okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless he hears this and then
I'll kick his ass.
the fake number is really what derailed me. Like,
You got out. We're going to manifest positivity. He's not a psychopathic murderer. We're good.
yeah. Okay.
We
Cool.
got this.
Nice.
Nice. Okay. Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
PSA 10 toxins. Hell yeah, brother.
Okay, so based on your story and
I think
the
when I go
monologue
bake
we
these, I'm
just
gonna
took
make
at the
myself
beginning
a
of this
snack.
episode,
I'm getting
let's start off
hungry.
with this story I saw the other day, and it's honestly like really scary, puzzling, and I'm not sure what this person was thinking. Trigger warning on this story, though, you guys, it does contain mentions of suicide.
Oh.
This is coming from Relationship Advice. It was posted about 25 days ago, 2,000 upvotes at this point in time, 845 comments. So smaller, I would say. It didn't go as big as some of them go on here, but just wait, guys. Just wait. My 24 male girlfriend, 23 female, is staying at her sister's, 27 female, until I, quote, admit I have a problem and get psychiatric help. This all started earlier last year. My parents were going through a rough divorce, and my dad attempted suicide, which left him not all there mentally, even though he survived. I basically had to take care of him, and it brought me a lot of stress as I am a full-time PhD student living off a stipend and nothing more. Between that and my girlfriend's income, we live decently in the city we're in, but there's not much room for this kind of responsibility financially. It definitely took a toll on me, and I got really depressed after a while and started struggling with severe insomnia. I guess that is where this all took the biggest turn. My girlfriend was very supportive at first, and even when I was dealing with that, she understood. I've done my best to keep her out of it, which is why I initially started sleeping on the couch to not disturb her with my tossing and turning. Eventually, I just gave up on sleep altogether and started going on night drives.
Oh,
She was aware of this and didn't have any issues with it, but eventually I started to be gone for hours and she was getting worried. Understandably, I guess. We had a talk about it last month, and I explained what I usually do to her in hopes of clearing her mind. This is the part of the situation that I admit is difficult to explain. Basically, after I'd been going on these night drives for a while, there was one night where I came across a young woman crying outside of a gas station. I felt bad for her and had nowhere to be, So I stopped to see if she was okay. Turns out she was a minor, 16, and had a bad home situation. I offered to give her a ride somewhere because that part of town, or really any at 3 a.m., isn't particularly safe for an underage girl to be walking around, and she hesitantly accepted. I drove her to some house on the other side of town, and that was all there was to that specific interaction. The girl was obviously nervous the whole time, as I guess any teenage girl would be in a strange man's car, but I really just wanted to help, and it felt good seeing her relief when I actually took her where she wanted to go. So, basically after that, I started driving around at night and looking for other girls/women that were by themselves and might need a ride. It took a while to actually find someone, which I guess is good, but eventually I did, and it just kind of became a night hobby where I would drive around and give these girls rides whenever I could find them, especially on the poorer side of town. I started to do this regularly. I can admit it's a weird thing, and a lot of people may wonder why I just didn't Uber or something, but that isn't the same. I specifically enjoyed helping people I felt actually needed it, and I got this unexplainable enjoyment out of seeing them go from anxious to relieved every time they got out of my car. Does he hear it? I explained that to my girlfriend, and she said it sounded extremely predatory, which I was confused by because I never even touched any of these girls, especially since several of them were underage and I'm not like that. She said it didn't matter if I did or not, though, and it was just inherently predatory/weird. We had a big argument, but eventually we made up and I agreed to just stop going on night drives altogether. That was about a month ago, and things were awkward the entire time. But we lived together fairly peacefully until earlier this week. I ran into some unexpected financial trouble last week when I suddenly needed new tires, and it put me in a bit of a bind with taking care of my dad and all. I ended up having to take on more credit card debt to get everything done, and basically after that, I was just extremely stressed and ended up doing another night drive. I didn't even pick up any girls, but my girlfriend was waiting for me when I got home, around 5 a.m., and we got into a big fight. She thinks I've been doing all that again. I haven't. This was my first drive in general in all that time, and she ended up just leaving to go stay with her sister. Basically, she said she's willing to work things out, but I need to get psychiatric help and, quote, stop preying on vulnerable women, even if I think it's harmless, as a means of coping. I am already seeing a therapist, so I don't really know what else to do. I don't see that earlier behavior as predatory at all, and I haven't even done that in like a month anyways. She just doesn't believe me. What more can I do besides continuing therapy?
Whoa. Okay, so this is actually kind of crazy because on Sunday we went horseback riding all together, and then you were busy, so you went home, but I was at Alejandra's house until like decently late. When I left her house, she lives in a neighborhood, like a white picket fence neighborhood.
Yeah.
And there was a woman who was wearing
Try
underwear
to bake
and a
one toxin
t-shirt
as a
and
trial so you can
heels
gauge any
walking in the
adjustments
middle
in
of the
case it ends up
street.
cracking or breaking in
And
the oven.
my first reaction was fear,
YOLO.
and then my second reaction was help. And then but she didn't like do anything, crazy, like please help me kind of thing. She just kind of like waved her hand as if she was looking to get like picked
I'll
up
just I'll watch the oven.
for
Hailing a
Yeah,
cab.
and I'll do
Hailing
like
a cab,
10, 15
exactly.
minutes first,
And
and then
so
I'll do like 5-minute
I
increments.
kept going, but then part of me was thinking, well, like, what if she was in this situation where someone drugged her, and then I could have helped her, and then I went through this whole scenario in my head, and then I thought like how now I'm feeling guilty, and how I would have felt so good if I could have helped somebody. So I can see where he gets this got this this feeling of like it felt so good for him to help somebody kind of thing, and then wanted to repeat that feeling and feel like a hero. The thing that I also thought though is why this is scary is because as we just talked about everything, you also don't want to train people, especially if they're young girls, like 16-year-old girls, that it's okay to get into a stranger's car.
Yeah.
Especially if they just like look nice or dress nice. Like that doesn't always mean that they're, nice.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like I think that there's something with I've heard about animals too, that even though it's, if an animal comes up to you and you give them food and whatnot, then they're starting to learn and train that humans are safe, but then that actually puts them in more danger because that makes them more easily hunted or
Yeah. Well, and that's the case, right? It's like if this, 16-year-old goes out again after a bad
Mhm.
home situation and it's like, well, the first time I got a ride from a stranger, it worked out okay.
Exactly.
This is how
Yeah.
many, many women end up murdered.
Yep.
And even men. There is what they think is a serial killer in Chicago right now. And there have been many men that have ended up dead recently. And the common denominator is they get in a car with a stranger. They're
Mhm.
drunk.
Yep. Yeah. So, and I was in
I just don't talk to strangers.
self-defense classes in college. It was like an extra.
I love
Extra-
that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. So, that was one of the things is that the reason
Stranger
that the
danger
person who,
is
she was a
real,
woman,
you guys. We
and the
learned this
reason
as
she
kids.
decided to teach this class is because of the fact that she had an experience where she was either, I can't remember now, but mugged or trying.
Isn't talking to
somebody tried to
strangers your
take
job?
her.
Yeah.
No.
And so she wanted to be able to know how to get away. So she got really into
I'm
self-defense
quite
classes
literally
and then wanted to turn
talking
around
to
and
my
teach
computer right
that
now.
to people that are in
And
college campuses.
magically, there's
that are,
text
That's amazing.
being
Yeah,
written
so
on my screen at
what
the same
happened
time.
throughout all of her training is she had so many stories from all these people.
crazy
The
how
reason
that
they
works,
decided to
right?
come to self-defense classes is because of their experiences.
Yeah, I'm talking to
And
words.
one of the things she said is that like people always think that you need to be like worried about like someone who's like really grungy and like like
Just
as
chat
if
in the
that-
room with
but
me.
She's like there was apparently
You guys
this
are an
guy
entity.
had
This is
a
you guys.
really expensive car, really nice suit.
That's
Like
you.
his hair was parted perfectly, and he like pretended to help this girl who was whatever pulled over on the side of the street,
Mhm.
and she thought, of course, I'm like, of course. Anyway, like this guy ended up being a serial killer, like crazy, and the fact that she got away was an actual miracle. But like what her point in telling us this is that like we when we're younger, people keep telling us that like, oh, like it's the way that their body language, you'll know. But it's just like, no, like the people that are the best at it are the ones that look like they're so
Have you guys ever
cleaned
seen
up.
Her?
Yeah.
So
Or they just like
Where the guy
really
falls in
need
love
help.
with
They,
like Siri.
feign an injury or like a
And then
disability of some sort or needing help.
he
Hey,
like
Miss
hires
Nurse,
an
can you help
actor.
me?
mhm.
Which I remember on an earlier episode, I think we talked
guys are
about
like
Ted
that.
Bundy and how he was attractive and nice
Mhm.
looking,
All right, this
and
is
that's
kind
how
of
he
like
got a lot of his victims.
intense. I want something a little bit more lighthearted.
I believe someone in the comments corrected us, or I learned about this later.
Hello and welcome to my new show! Oh my god!
Holy whiplash.
Guys, I'm Courtney Miller. This is URL. The internet is a crazy place. It's changed so much, and it's caused us to change so much. It's an escape. It's a place we want to escape, and I want to talk about it, and I want to force people to hang out with me for an hour. And talk to them about whatever I want and learn about their little internet digital footprints. So, without further ado, URL stands for You're Looking at Me Right Now. The person that's in the chat with us today is a guest I'm very excited about, but not as excited as they are when I tell them literally anything. Angela Giratana. Hey, girl.
Wow.
We're clapping.
Roasted. That was a good roast.
Did I get you?
That's so good. I'm excited about everything.
You're here.
Thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
Isn't this so crazy?
This is so crazy and so cool and just fun to just chill.
It's a really
and
cool
hang.
set.
Yeah, no props, no costumes, no wigs.
Get to hang with you. I'm
Just
so
yapping.
excited.
Last time we did this, we did like a Smosh Pit video
Yes.
where it was
That
like
one
us talking
toxin
about,
has a
like,
fresh
dating
wave.
and,
What
like,
was a wave?
Yes.
that was like we were still really new, getting to know each other. I
that felt like
back then.
yeah, it was like you and me
just oversharing.
just oversharing.
Which
And
we're doing
remember I
here.
brought up workplace relationships?
Oh
And
yeah,
it was before you came out with your husband.
that's right.
And you went, don't bring that up. And I was
I
like,
wasn't.
no, not me. But you were just like, maybe no. And I was like, oh, yes, no.
And I was like, "Dude, we can cut it," because everybody at work knew at that
Yeah.
time. But yeah, look at us. We're here. We're gonna be yapping once again.
So fun.
I'm very excited to talk about the internet with you, and you have already quite the digital footprint, as we know.
Oh.
I mean, let's talk about your accolades, okay?
oh, okay.
Yes, you host a podcast, Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists on
did it.
Artists.
You
Is
did
that
it.
too many?
I think it's 4.
4?
Yeah.
So Our 4 artists.
Yep, you did it.
Oh, and there's 4 of you on the
Yeah.
podcast, right? Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. That's so cute. And you've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, that's one of the things I do that's purely only for fun.
Aw.
And like, I think it was like, yeah, there's a lot of other things I do for fun, but also I like want to, I don't know, foster something about that. But that one is like, 'cause especially improv. I don't know if improv, speaking of the internet, sometimes improv podcasts don't really stick because people are like, who is that? And we're different every episode.
Yes, you guys do like a whole new character.
Yeah.
It's
So
so
it's
fun.
different than other podcasts. So in the beginning, I was like, I
not
actually
like
don't care if
other
this like takes off or
podcasts.
not. I just want to have fun.
Yeah, that's the way you gotta freaking do it.
That's why you gotta do it, dude.
Yes, and you make stuff. You just be staying.
The ears. I'm
creating
getting so
All
much
the
better at the
time.
ears.
I feel that way about you. You be staying creating.
Be staying creating.
You be
That's a
staying
sentence, right?
creating.
Yeah.
But you're that way too, where it's like, I think to be an artist is to like constantly be putting in and putting out, putting in, putting out.
Yeah, and I feel like once you find your medium, you like the ideas kind of create themselves in your head.
Yeah.
Like, what was your first like place that you were like putting stuff out for yourself?
Whoa.
Did you ever have a place where you uploaded or posted weird things like before it
Yes.
was a job?
Oh, that's such a good point. I think my like beginning like creating online was Tumblr.
Oh
I was a Tumblr girly.
You like
Oh my
created on
God.
Tumblr?
Oh, yeah. I was like,
Me
I would
too.
write a little on Tumblr.
Oh,
I was a
When she was
Tumblr
just, like,
girly.
venting about my classmates, and like, and then I was doing a lot of reposting on Tumblr. of
Yeah,
pictures.
reblogging.
Yeah.
I was a reblog
Reblogger. Yeah.
reblog slut.
Yeah.
That was my
Wouldn't use
God.
the like feature a lot. Would just
See, I would use the okay. I was just talking to our AD about this, where I would scroll my feed, like all these posts,
yeah.
and then I would go back and like
You made a
reblog
mad
them
one.
in a way that like color coordinated them.
That's so great.
I was
curled-
obsessed with this.
That's like how back in the day. I mean, some people still do this where they like color block their Instagram grid.
Yes, yeah. They have like a whole. I feel like I can never. I tried to commit to that once. It's
Yeah.
too.
3 more.
difficult. Is your Tumblr still alive?
Okay, so I tried to find it, hard to find, and I'm actually really happy that it's hard to find.
I
because
deleted
that
my
would be
Tumblr.
embarrassing. But I was like, I used it a lot. I think just emotionally. I think it was like a
Yes.
like actually. I think Tumblr was like the beginnings of like a diary, right? But then it became like you follow people and you repost them, but it was mostly just like fun pictures. There was like it was like weird art, like weird photo shoots that were just like really overdone. It was like Ashley Tisdale with like a bunch of lollipops, and I'd be like, I love this aesthetic.
Yeah. Yes, dude, it was so good.
Mina, you're doing
Oh
amazing
my
work.
God,
Thank
I'm talking about being
you.
emo. Like, I definitely had my Tumblr where it was like aesthetic. I was like, that's aesthetic, and pictures and gifs of hot people.
Yes.
And then I had my second one where it was like diary, where I would just go off about my dad.
No.
Like so much. I mean, because Tumblr was like where I learned about anxiety
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
and like being queer, kind of, you
Yeah.
know, like so. It was a place of self discovery.
And it was like so much more, I think, like creative.
miss old
than I
school
think
Tumblr, bro.
Instagram lends itself to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was so much about like images and like color and like and then also just talking about your deep dark thoughts, a lot of poetry.
No, he
A
does.
lot
It's
of
just really
poetry or,
light.
like,
I'm
a
gonna go over
quote.
with
Like,
marker.
I think there was a quote that I think I still would tattoo on my body, and I for the first time told the quote to Shane recently.
What's the quote?
Art exists because life is not enough.
That is Tumblr.
That is so Tumblr, and I didn't realize how like he was like, wow, that's really dark, and I was like, is it? Because cavemen were bored and they created music. You know what I'm saying? Like they literally decided to draw on a rock one day
Art
because they
exists
were
because
bored.
Life is not enough. It is a little dark.
Like, do you think squirrels try? Like, do you think squirrels have like art? I mean, the birds have mating calls. That's art. Like,
No, okay, hold on. A mating call being art is wild. Let's break that down because I thought a mating call is like let's.
it is. Well, but aren't most songs that? Like, aren't
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I didn't think about the fact that mating call is a creative thing. I thought it
didn't
was just
really-
like a hey,
I think
need this.
there is that. There is the mating call, right? Where some animals are like, bah!
Yeah.
But then there's
Look at
like
you
the ones where it's, like, a male bird
guys.
approaches a female bird and then just starts doing like a dance.
Yeah.
And then doing like tricks with their feathers.
Yeah, that's art, I guess.
An army.
Maybe?
With
I
an
think that's-
intent to arouse.
with the intent to arouse, which Lil Nas X, same mission, you
Same
know?
mission.
Like Tumblr is crazy because did you ever like have Tumblr friends?
Okay, I don't think I ever did.
I had
Really?
Tumblr
I had
friends.
like one friend from school, and I knew her Tumblr name.
Okay.
And I will never forget. It's like my best friend still to this day. And her Tumblr was biting the apple. And I remember being like,
Whoa.
I know her secret username. And we would like repost each other. And I was like, biting the apple. That's my friend Catherine.
I love it. Your little alias. Yeah, because it was such a like a artistic way of communicating, like with images and music
Yeah.
and poetry. I had a high school boyfriend I actually was broken up with through Tumblr.
Like a direct message
Yeah.
on Tumblr?
Yeah, I forgot about that until we started talking about this.
Wait, is your like you
He
could
broke up
send a
with me
chat
over-
on Tumblr?
Yeah, there's DMs, there's private messages.
They
on
added it
Tumblr.
later
You can
on.
send
It was a
anonymous
later
if you want.
feature.
I actually don't remember if he sent it anonymously, and I just knew it was him. But he broke up with me over Tumblr, and I was physically sick.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was weird though. Also to like have a straight guy who had Tumblr unironically. Is that strange? Like where he was reblogging like horny gifs and like posting music and
He
like
was
Oh my
like,
god,
"Look at
I
this
have lore
gif
about
of
someone, you
Justin
guys,
Timberlake
about
walking back and
Tumblr,
forth."
but
Yeah,
it's not my
dude.
story to
Okay.
tell.
First of all, didn't know you could.
But I have
DM
lore about a
on
certain
Tumblr.
person in
What?
Tumblr.com.
An anonymous feature. That's like giving kids. I was gonna say.
I wish I could tell you. It's not my story.
That's like giving.
It's someone you
kids
know,
not a
but it's
good
not my
thing.
story
It's
to
a
tell. It's
weapon.
such a. It's
It
so
is
funny.
a weapon.
Wait. Oh my
Remember
god. Do you remember
Formspring?
This took. Yes. Wait. Was Formspring what I think it is?
It's not new
Or,
me.
like the ask me, the anonymous.
all
questions.
anonymous.
Yes.
Lives were ruined.
Actually.
To be like, hey, give these high schoolers an anonymous forum to talk to each other with, is
Ugh.
actually fucking terrorism.
But also, but also the fact that like we kept using it after feeling the effects of it, like we just would keep going on. It was like honestly like very early stages of addiction of like coming back
Yeah.
and being like, yeah, I
Yeah.
have to
Was
see
that,
what
like,
people are
when-
saying to me.
Yes, was that what like when Gossip Girl was out or something? Because it was all about like
Oh my gosh.
for some
yeah.
reason like saying things that you actually wouldn't say in person was like such a big currency in high school and middle school. And I remember it was just constantly people being like, I have a crush on you, but you don't know. And then I'd go to school being like, anyone?
Oh my god.
Who is it?
Oh my god, and we would just I remember tweeting the link all the time on for
Yeah.
people to send to me. But that website's long gone with good reason.
Yeah.
Ugh, man.
Because now you can just create a burner account and DM
Mhm.
someone. And just be like, I have a crush on you. Do you want to grow your followers by
Oh.
20%?
That would like, just be spam and AI 100%.
100%.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about posting and whatnot.
Yes.
What was the first YouTube video you ever watched?
Okay, first video I ever watched. I remember, I
remember
think
it.
it was during the Vine days too, where it was like comedy in small bites. Was like, I don't remember watching long YouTube videos.
YouTube videos were quick.
right? Yeah, like I
Yes.
just remember watching. Like,
I remember
silly,
Charlie
like,
bit my
someone screaming,
finger,
and it was like, oh my god, that's
and
so
it
funny, that
really
woman screamed.
hurts.
So I remember this. Speaking of a woman screaming, my first ever actual memory of a YouTube video was for some reason my brother and I on our shared computer upstairs
Yes.
would always pull up this video of this woman yelling, and I think it was for an Xbox commercial.
Okay, you mentioned this.
Yes,
And I
Also, like
have
the
never heard of
that one
this.
guy who
I
like
don't even know
crashes
what I'm
out.
talking about.
He had,
but it's
like,
just,
mega
oh,
crash
I'm
outs.
going like deep into the memories of like before my brain had like understood what like references are. I
Uh-huh.
just remember like this woman yelling.
Okay, so our research team is amazing. Our YouTube forensics team found the video, and I actually really want to see this.
And if this isn't her, this will be so funny.
Is that with the
59
remote?
seconds,
I don't
remember. How
remember.
that felt long back in like 2007.
This is it! Oh my god!
That's you. That is you.
See, I watched this at a young age.
What is this? What do people watch before YouTube? Well, there was Vimeo. I don't know if that was before or after YouTube,
My brother and
but
I went-
people had individual
See, I
websites
saw that and
that they
went,
would watch
"That's what it
stuff
is to
on.
be
YouTube
funny."
was like the first
What, the
place to like
Xbox
congregate all the
I know,
videos.
what the f- that is?
So like before the
Like,
age
it's
of
a
like
commercial, like,
Twitter,
it's a girl auditioning for a commercial? Or
People had
something? I
other
don't know what
sites that they
is,
would go
but
on for
that's a
stuff, for
formative
different
memory.
things.
And then if we're actually talking things that people could relate to,
Because Twitter
my
didn't
first
really
ever
like get
video
popular until I was in
remember
high
loving
school.
Was the shoes.
Shoes. Liam Kyle Sullivan shoes. That was my first YouTube video as well.
Really?
I think I was in 6th grade and I heard a girl talking about it. And she'd go, oh my God, shoes. And I was like, what is that? She's like, go home, search shoes by Liam Kyle Sullivan, and you're going to love it. Like,
How
that's
did that
literally-
like break the time-space continuum and get us all like? It was also like kind of the song that is really good. Like it's a song, right?
Yeah, that would have been fire on TikTok.
Fire.
It would have been a fire audio for everybody to show off their shoes.
I mean, so would have. Bam, bam,
bang, bah, bah, bah. She committed. She did not stop until they called cut.
And that's now what we're seeing is like when you see like unironic older women go viral on TikTok for being like, show it to me, Rachel.
Show me
Like
to
that's
me.
that. It's where it's like you're like watching someone just really.
That's like when people are caught in 4K being real.
Oh,
like
it's my favorite internet.
And talking about shoes, that was incredible.
Yeah, so that's different because this was like written to be funny,
Right.
right? And like that's what I remember being like, whoa, that's like a funny sketch, right? I think it's a sketch.
It's a music video, not only.
Yeah. This is gonna blow my mind watching it because I haven't seen this in so long.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, twins.
With George
A
Bush
computer
and
and a
Jesus.
car.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Kelly, go ahead and open your present.
I don't remember any of this.
2 more.
Serving.
What the hell?
What'd you expect? Condoms?
Nice present, Kelly.
What the hell?
Shut up, duck.
Skank. I'm gonna butt slap you.
Shutbag.
I'm an athlete.
Now stop fighting. You two are twins. Goodness sakes. Don't they have the same thoughts?
Shiz. PlayStation.
Fiscal responsibility.
Humor's so weird.
Hear it.
Kelly, where are you going?
Out.
Whore.
Kelly, what are you gonna do with
What a
your life?
What?
I'm going to get what I want.
Christ.
I feel that video deep in my soul. I'm actually so glad we watched that because I am recharged.
Yeah,
I
wow,
literally
you
had
just came
food
to life.
poisoning yesterday. I was like horizontal all day. That brought me back.
What brought
Bring
you
me
back? on
back.
that?
It was a blonde bitch saying, I'm gonna get what I want. And walking out on her parents. That was so powerful. We need to watch that once a day.
You're a clips girly. That brings you to life.
Oh yeah, I love a good clip.
Was it the nostalgia of it that just like gets you back? Or
I
like-
think what I'm so weird with how I consume media where like sometimes I don't know if it's I'm gaslighting myself or maybe I'm just like actually psychotic where if I'm showing someone a video or in the room with people who maybe haven't seen the video before, I will rewire
You underestimated
my
how much
brain
access you
to
had
feel what it's
online
like to
younger.
watch it for the
Yeah.
first time again. Like I want to, and maybe it's like because of like empathy and just being able to like imagine what that feels like and just feeling how powerful some of that was. Like,
Oh my God,
I'm
no,
gonna
I
get
love
what
that.
I want, and your mom just called you a whore. F her. You're gonna go get what you want.
Yes, I love it.
I just love when you see an old video and like not only how it influenced so much, but how it still can feel legit and like make sense today.
When
you
stuff
know?
holds up like that and it like means new things, it's crazy.
Yes, and people love the house head empty beat. Again, this is it.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was reinvigorating. I'm so glad dude, Liam Kyle Sullivan. So that's
Yeah,
the
I remember
YouTube that
Dial
really
Up.
made it and had like a whole series, so many videos, so many sketches. They worked for Smosh for a little bit.
No.
They edited.
Why does this happen all the time? This
I
happens
used to be
me
on
all the
AIM.
fucking time where like we'll talk about somebody that's like, and you go, oh yeah, they worked at Smosh for a second. And I go, what?
Because there was a bunch of different YouTube channels that worked at this place, and we were told to come check out the cut of like one of these videos. I think it was something new we were trying. We walk into this editing room. It's just this one guy sitting at a computer. He turns around and goes, "Hey guys," and it was Liam Kyle Sullivan.
Okay, post shoes.
Post shoes.
So you
that
recognized
was
him-
2006, 2005. This was in 2016.
Holy shit! So you recognize him off the jump.
Immediately.
Did you say something?
I was like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "Yeah."
No. Oh, I love.
So good. It's so healing when you see stuff like that. Just like
Truly, like, why did that stuff hit harder for us when we were kids than SNL? Maybe because SNL was like made for adults.
yeah.
I mean, SNL hit when I was a kid, but not like weird YouTube videos.
I don't think SNL hits.
No,
I'm gonna
'cause,
be
like,
real.
You made me think about.
But
the-
I also am
like,
not
when
a
they're
fan
just
of
doing
skit comedy.
Video.
Yeah.
Like, remember Baby Panda Sneeze?
Yes.
or like crazy panda sneeze. And it was a
Saturday Night
baby
Live.
panda
Daniel, you don't know
sneezing and the
SNL?
mom getting scared.
Yes.
I was crying, laughing at the family shared computer, hitting that little replay. When I discovered the replay button, it was over. And I would call different family members in and I would be screaming. And I don't know why they didn't feel it the way I felt it. Like, you know what I mean? Here it is.
Oh, I remember this fucking frame.
Why does this look familiar?
10 hours version or? It's the build up and her
Wait,
relaxing after.
Uh-oh. That's crazy that holds a place. Like videos like that for us, because it's like that used to be, I can't imagine what it is now because there's thousands and millions
Content
of
moves
that
too
kind of
fast now, I
content,
feel.
or like 2 seconds or something that you find super funny. But like we all watched that one.
Right. That's not, and like nowadays, the internet's so big that it's like, it's sometimes rare where it's like, oh yeah, I saw that TikTok, you know?
Yeah, and you're like, whoa, we must have the same For
our
You
algorithms
page.
are similar.
Oh my God, that's a big deal.
Ugh.
Versus like everyone in school was watching things like that.
If that panda's sneeze, if I just like heard that one day in like a subway station, I go, I know exactly what that is.
I'm the exact same way with that woman going, bam!
That needs to be my alarm. So you had a shared computer with your brother.
Yes.
I feel like, I wonder if like that's something that people still experience now. Like, do people still have like a family shared computer, or do people just have iPads?
Oh yeah,
Like,
I think like my cousin, his kids all share one iPad.
whoa.
Yeah, and I imagine like you're like logging, like if you're a teenager, you're all logging into different accounts. I
Mhm.
remember like sharing a MySpace with 4 of my friends.
4?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it
I'd
was
never heard of
just-
4.
It was kind of like before we started taking selfies and we were leaving the Tumblr age where like we liked art. So we would post like our profile picture would be like a picture of Lady Gaga looking cool or something.
Oh my God,
Like, it
I
would
remember
be,
epic
like,
rap battles.
something super, like it wasn't identified with us yet.
Interesting.
And it was like a cool page where we just like made our top 8 like different, like I don't even remember. And then we all got our own.
Whoa.
But
Was there a big fallout or?
no, I think it was just like, wow, we should all have our own accounts. Kind of weird that we're sharing a MySpace.
Yeah, probably when you guys started wanting to like message people, and once more friends had it, because I only knew of like 2 friends sharing a MySpace, because 4 sounds like a crowd, but if it wasn't
Yeah.
for like you as a person, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, I think it was more like something we did one night at a sleepover. Where it was like, oh my God, we all share this.
Those
Was it
were the
iCarly that showed the
days.
sneezing panda?
Oh my
It
gosh.
might
So you did
have.
have a MySpace. How old were you when you first got it?
I honestly couldn't even tell you. I think like 5th grade.
Same. I was not allowed to have it.
Yeah, no.
I'd clear the history, not allowed, but I did.
Crazy that
I never had a
like,
MySpace.
now, like it's scary when kids are on the internet. But like I don't know what people were scared of back in the day.
Back
We were
in the
just
day-
like I would just change my song to like a Michael Bublé song.
Oh,
Remember you would have a song?
oh yeah, I had To the Beat of My Heart.
Oh my
Haley Duff
God.
and Haley Duff.
I Haven't Met You Yet by Michael Bublé.
That's how I discovered so much music too, was on MySpace. And that was when it was like nice, when you'd enter a new website and then a song would start playing and it's like, time to begin the vibe. And you'd like you'd scroll the MySpace and see everything. My sister, she had a MySpace because she was like technically old enough, but she learned like how to HTML, like change the MySpace layout in a big way. So one day I just was like, can you make my MySpace cool, please? Can you make it?
Wait,
can
oh
you just
my
make MySpace
God.
cool?
Yes, keep going. Because I'm
And-
just now remembering you could change the
could-
cover.
And people would have whole websites where you'd copy paste HTML like coding.
One
And
more.
I'm sure Anthony knows all about this. Making his website, Smosh.com was probably really cool back then. But like truly, and so when she was finished, and
Last
she opened it
one,
up, and it was
and
the
my
To the Beat
army
My
of
Heart song,
toxins
and
is
then it
over.
had, like it was black, but then there was like
I
a
used
fun
to
little
HTML
border that
on
was, like,
Tumblr.
animated of like hearts and lines, and I was just like, first time I was gagged. I think that was the first time I was gagged. Was she did that? She ate. She really ate with my MySpace layout.
I forgot what it was where you could like go to other websites and get a layout, download it, and like put it
Yeah.
in your thing.
They would have like just a box where you copy paste, right?
And honestly, I think that's where I learned early stages of minimalism. Because it was like we went from like like maximalism being like just colors all over your
Oh my god,
page,
yeah.
to like, whoa, this cool, really tall girl named Quinn in our class. Her MySpace is all white.
Oh, the first
and you
clean
can't
girl.
see her top 8. It's just a white page with her name. And I was like, that's the sickest shit.
Oh my god, yes, I remember those phases. And yeah, finding out cool songs, and like the high you'd get when you'd see like new comments, new messages. Like that was like the first time ever experiencing that.
The
Damn.
Play
And I don't
label.
think like, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the room. I think like MySpace, you couldn't, did you show if you were in a relationship?
Yes, relationship statuses. You
'Cause I
could
thought
put
that
your
was-
mood as horny. You could put a mood on you could put a status like away messages on MySpace, and then you could have a mood, and each one had a little emoji,
And it's like fucking like
It's- I got
Robbie
it
in your
from
like history
Amazon.
class, and he's 12, and he's putting
he
horny.
and he picked horny, and I'm just like, I think back then I was like, whoa, he's saying he's horny. That's so
Yeah, 8 ounces for
grown.
12
And
toxins.
now
A
when
little
you
more
see
than
that,
an
you're
ounce
like,
per
ew.
toxin.
Like,
I would
stop.
never, if I saw that, as the God-loving tween I was, I would never go onto that profile.
You got off
I
Amazon.
saw
Well, when was I supposed to
horny.
leave and go get something? I'm stuck
I
here
was like,
forever.
whoa.
See, I remember doing like
When was I supposed to leave?
early parasocial stuff where now I don't really understand it as much. I mean, a little bit, like with reality stars. I feel like I know them, right? Because I watch them every day. But with MySpace and Tumblr
Is this the
and
question?
like,
Yeah,
early
I know.
Facebook, like I remember
I'm just like a little dramatic, you know.
this is vulnerable. I remember seeing my crush
Stop
and
mentioning
doing something like
the
they would
timer.
change their emotion to excited.
Don't
And I'd be
mention
like, it's because
it.
they're excited
They
to
might
see me.
lose you.
Like I would like make these jumps and like create lore that wasn't there. And then I would like or if he like liked a picture of mine, I'd be like, oh, he's thinking about me. And now tomorrow, like, does that make sense? Like I
No,
would
yeah.
like create a whole storyline
But the
based
prob-
off of someone's just profile. And like I would be like, oh, this is action. Like, oh,
It's
a like
quiet
means
time.
something to me. And I think that's when I realized, oh, that means something to me and it means something different to that person. But I would just go. And then I would think I was like, oh, we have like something going on.
Wow, the
And this
first
person and I am
parasocial.
not talking to.
You've never spoken to them.
You know what I mean? Like early crushes where like action on the
Yes.
internet was like a lot of action to me.
No, like the love language was watching them.
Yes.
Like I relate to that in a big way. I think I would see their mood and I would just make my mood whatever theirs was to like be like,
see, if I saw that, I'd be like, oh my God, Courtney changed her mood to the exact mood of mine. We're in a conversation right now. But there's no talking happening. Like, it's so embarrassing to be a
that's
teenager.
so real.
It's so embarrassing. Thank God we're not anymore.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, thank God we're not. Yeah.
I think it's harder to be young than it is old.
Anyways,
Hot take.
it's like give and take, right? Wow. So your first parasocial relationship, that's incredible. So when we first started working together, you came to Smosh. It's you kind of gave like chronically offline vibes, but you went viral in this past year with the Beppardy clip of you crashing out. But you also before that became viral a bunch of times with your characters on social media and talking about doing characters every day. It was really cool that you decided to tackle that and do a character every day for the month of, was it September that last year?
Yeah.
A couple years ago. Crazy.
And they're still up and they're bad. And
Not all of them.
But it's just like, I don't know. You're somebody, I think it was like I think you are somebody like this, but I was started to work with a bunch of people where it was just like, they're just doing it and they're not scared to be out there. And I just thank you for saying that. It's just still crazy. I'm still not super comfortable just posting on my own, by myself, fighting for myself. Like, does that make sense? Because it feels like a look at me thing.
Yes.
And that's why, like, yeah.
I relate to that. I mean, we have very different digital footprints in that I was posting really cringe YouTube videos ever since 2009 when I finally figured out how to format a video to upload it off of Windows Movie Maker. I literally was like, how do I make it an MP4? I can't, what's going on? Finally figured it out, and ever since then, because like I started as like I loved editing, and I would literally record footage just so I would have something to edit, and that footage was cringe, bro.
I have some
Like,
videos I
it is
made on
so-
YouTube
it's
from when I was a
interesting
kid.
How we can be really nervous nowadays.
they were
about what we
Glee
put online,
AMVs.
validly so. But so many of people of our generation were posting YouTube videos of them like
And I would
making
like
their own choreography to,
splice
like, an
together
Ashley
different
Tisdale song,
conversations from the
full
show
of
to make
chest,
it my
being, like,
ship a
hockey
reality.
classes and like a sweatband. And,
Second
like,
time
looking-
Ashley Tisdale's been mentioned.
Oh my God, look at us! Wow, talk about dating this
Link,
this
never.
whole vibe of the show. But yeah, like I think
You
yeah,
could
at a
not have
certain point, just,
waterboarded
like,
that
have to
info out
stop
of me.
Thinking about it because
One of them popped off. I
but
think
at
it
the
hit
same
like
time,
100K or
the fact that
something.
you are, it's kind of good to always be aware. You
Yeah.
know, like because people be posting things without thinking, and
Yeah, but I think that's what's so special about you to me is like we have such completely different beginnings of the internet.
You will never find it
Like,
because I'm pretty
I
sure I
was
deleted it.
so
I deleted
much
a lot of
higher.
my old stuff
And I think,
when
like,
I
you being on
started
Vine,
streaming.
like when you're like how old?
I went through and I
well,
just made
Vine
sure to
started when I
get
was, like,
rid of
17.
things.
I would never.
Yeah,
Like I was under an alias on YouTube on Tumblr.
I love
Like,
that for you.
But it's just so funny that it's so nice to have people that just
I have the
treat
files.
internet
No,
differently
old
around
computer.
you
It was on a
because
laptop.
you can decide what you want, and you can. It's like a process. There are some times where I'm like very online, and I need to see everything.
Oh wait, this
everyone's
tail's so
making.
cute.
And then there are some times where I actually can't, and just you need some space to deal with other stuff in your life, right?
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes like I've felt it more than ever now of being like, I need to dissociate. So I'm just gonna scroll through TikTok.
Yeah.
And like not even care if I found anything good. Cause like my main goal for the last few years on TikTok was I want to find something funny to show my husband. Like it was like building a charcuterie board of comedy
Whoa.
to show Shane. Like, cause that was like my favorite time sometimes is like if it was like a weekend, we were like vibing and it's like, okay, let's show each other TikToks and just be laughing. And like sometimes ideas would come from it and stuff too. But it's gotten kind of bad. TikTok's like I sometimes do you ever feel like the algorithm
And
can,
there's the
like,
last
where it's like, I see exactly what
toxin.
you're trying to do to me.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
100%. Where you're like, I
The
see-
army
now
is
the algorithm, like, is
complete.
a,
I need to
it's like a
bake them
manipulative
now.
lady in the room.
Yeah, it's like a toxic ant.
Yeah, it
Maybe
used to
get some
just
more
be like
coffee.
a fucking wild 7-year-old that would change. Like it would just be like, whoa, look at all this insane stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
and now
chat.
it's like it's got.
What
a
if I
vendetta. It wants me to take out my card. It
Disappeared
wants me
among
to
the
buy
sea of
stuff, it
butterflies
wants
for
me to
like 20 minutes
exercise, It wants me to listen
to watch
to
the
top
oven.
charted music. Like it's very
Thoughts?
Oh my god, I got by AI for the first time recently.
Yeah, your
Like,
Gamba
actually,
time.
unironically got.
And then I will
was
come
like,
back
oh
with
my God,
them
I need to get
ready
into a
and I will
rocking chair
paint
and be
them.
buried. Like I was so
buried in a
embarrassed.
rocking chair.
I deserved it.